Have you ever found yourself feeling like you've been dragged into a tearful drama, unwittingly cast as the villain? That's exactly what it feels like when you face a master manipulator, a narcissist disguised as a victim. They weave sorrowful tales, tugging at your heartstrings, making you believe they're desperately seeking help. But don't be fooled. Beneath that pitiful facade lies a sophisticated emotional trap. These individuals are psychological experts, adept at subtly exploiting your vulnerabilities, leaving you racked with guilt and doubt even when you dare to question their stories. And then, in a fleeting moment of clarity, you suddenly realize you're the one who needs to defend yourself, scrambling to prove your support while they sit back, effortlessly dodging any accountability. The surprising part is that this victim act is often not premeditated. They simply improvise, using their innate skills to turn it into a tool for personal gain, pushing you into a disadvantageous position. So how can you spot this false victim mask before it's too late? Start by paying attention to the stories of injustice they tell. Where is the fine line between a genuine, heartfelt sharing and a meticulously staged performance? Let's explore the following warning signs to avoid falling into the trap of narcissists disguised as victims. They always portray themselves as victims of injustice. Everyone has experienced injustice at some point in life. Usually such memories fade into the past, only resurfacing occasionally when something reminds us. It's like a healed scar that might ache now and then with changing weather, but doesn't persist as a daily pain. However, some people seem perpetually cast as victims of fate. They constantly encounter misfortunes, from unrecognized work to failed relationships, and of course, according to them, all the blame lies with others. Be cautious if you encounter such individuals. You might be dealing with a perpetual victim, someone who exploits others' sympathy. They paint a grim picture of their life, sowing in you a desire to be their savior, the one hero who truly understands and can help change their destiny. In the world of narcissists, they are always victims of injustice, always mistreated, misunderstood, and abandoned by the world. This is one of their favorite roles, a tried and true method to garner attention and manipulate others. They won't stop recounting the injustices they've endured, portraying themselves as pitiable and downtrodden. They cleverly exploit your compassion, making you feel guilty, sympathetic, and compelled to rescue them. But don't be fooled. Behind their complaints and fake tears lies a deeply selfish agenda. They want you to feel bad for them, to achieve their goals, to make you yield, comply, and compensate for their wrongs they claim to have suffered. In reality, they are master manipulators, artists of distorting the truth, exaggerating events, and blaming others. They will never admit their mistakes, but will always find a way to shift the blame to circumstances, others, or the world. If you find yourself empathizing with someone's tales of injustice to the point of wanting to prove that you're different and would never hurt them, beware. This could be a sign you're falling into the victim trap of a manipulator. When you notice suspicious signs from someone, take a moment to listen to yourself. If you feel an urge to prove yourself to someone you've just met, it's time to pause and reflect. Is there something hidden going on that you haven't yet realized? Another red flag of these perpetual victims is their use of tears and emotional breakdowns as a weapon. This tactic often emerges later, once their target is already emotionally entangled. Observe how they react when they don't get their way. Do they behave like an adult, calmly finding a solution? Or do they throw tantrums, sulk, or act out like a child? When criticized, do they immediately transform into a pitiable victim to elicit sympathy, forcing you to yield and forget the original issue? If the answer is yes, be on high alert. You're dealing with a skilled manipulator, someone who uses tears as a tool to control emotions and achieve their goals. So, stay sharp. Don't let yourself get swept into the victim narrative of narcissists. See through their manipulation tactics to protect yourself and those around you. They always portray themselves as victims of psychological trauma. In the arsenal of a narcissist's manipulative tactics, playing the victim of psychological trauma stands out as a potent weapon used to exploit trust and sympathy. This is not merely a case of taking advantage, but a masterful performance where they weave sorrowful tales of past trauma, casting themselves as pitiable figures to justify their wrongful actions. We all carry psychological scars from an imperfect past, but narcissists have a unique talent for turning this into a tool of power. With their natural acting abilities, they don't hesitate to paint a picture of a tragic childhood. Stories of abuse, neglect, or abandonment are frequently recounted with a pained expression that makes it almost impossible for others not to feel sympathy. The troubling reality, however, is that these accounts often bear little resemblance to the truth. They present themselves as perpetually anxious, gloomy individuals, frequently lamenting that the world has turned its back on them. They claim to trust no one, haunted by the fear that everyone around them is out to hurt them. Sometimes they go as far as feigning suicidal tendencies or creating dramatic situations to attract attention and pity. All of this is meticulously staged to make you feel guilty, compassionate, and ultimately subservient to their agenda. If you listen closely to their stories, one unmistakable pattern emerges. They always place the blame on others or on circumstances. They never take a moment to reflect on themselves or acknowledge their own mistakes. In their narrative, they are the invincible victim, always right, always pitiable, and of course, never accountable. This victim act doesn't just leave you trapped in an emotional whirlwind, it also makes you highly susceptible to manipulation. You begin to doubt yourself, feel guilty for not helping them, and eventually succumb to their objective, controlling you and bending you to their will. Therefore, it's crucial not to let their tearful lamentations cloud your judgment. Observe carefully and analyze critically to distinguish between truth and mere performance. Blind sympathy for such manipulators not only enables them to exploit you, but also perpetuates their harmful behavior. Instead, stand firm, protect yourself, and reserve your compassion for those who genuinely deserve it. Emily. They always appear to be surrounded by illness. Health is a precious asset for every individual, but in the hands of narcissists, it can become a powerful weapon for manipulation and drawing attention. They turn health issues, whether real or fabricated, into tools to achieve their goals, making others worry, comply, and even feel guilty for not meeting their demands. Narcissists often know how to make others believe the illness stories they tell. They may constantly complain about inexplicable pains, chronic ailments, or a weakened body and exhausted mind. In their narrative, each day passes like a fierce battle with pain and helplessness. They will recount in detail the difficulties they face, such as being unable to complete simple tasks or participate in daily activities. All of this is designed to make you believe that they are genuinely suffering and in need of special care and attention. However, the reality can be entirely different. Narcissists do not hesitate to exaggerate their condition or even fabricate ailments completely to evoke sympathy. They can act so convincingly that you wouldn't suspect a thing. A pained frown, a feeble voice, or a deep sigh of lament. All are carefully staged to make you believe they are enduring unbearable suffering. Pay attention, and you may notice that they often complain of unbearable headaches or severe stomach aches the moment you ask them to do housework or take on family responsibilities. They might feign illness to skip work, even when there are no signs of any health issues. Sometimes they even invent vague chronic conditions without clear symptoms, merely to appear fragile, delicate, and in need of protection. This not only helps them evade responsibilities, but also ensures that all attention in the room remains focused on them. This tactic is particularly dangerous because of the subtlety with which they employ it. It can make you begin to doubt yourself, wondering if you are being too harsh or lacking empathy. They make you feel guilty for not trusting their words, pushing you into a cycle of doing more to compensate. Gradually, you become submissive, catering to their every need without realizing you are being manipulated. Thus, the most important thing is to remain vigilant. Do not let your compassion and empathy be exploited by meticulously crafted health theatrics. Observe their behavior closely, listen carefully, and ask reasonable questions to verify the truth. If in doubt, pay attention to inconsistencies between their words and actions. By standing firm, you can avoid becoming a puppet in the hands of narcissists and protect yourself from toxic manipulative behaviors. Nick Sniff. They always appear lonely and misunderstood. Have you ever heard someone lament in a deeply melancholic tone, "No one understands me"? These seemingly harmless complaints are in fact a sweet trap that cunning manipulators set to gradually pull you into their game. These are not just mere words, but tools they use to plant the idea in your mind that you are special, the only person capable of rescuing them from a world full of darkness and pain. They will endlessly recount past traumas, their profound loneliness, and the times when the whole world turned its back on them. They make you believe that only you can understand, empathize with, and ease the burdens they carry. Meanwhile, your hero complex, the innate need to prove yourself as good, special, and important, kicks in. You extend your hand to help, wholeheartedly wanting to be the light that illuminates their life. But be cautious. This is not a fairy tale where you truly save someone. Instead, much like Hansel and Gretel being lured by the sweetness of the candy house, you risk being drawn into a relationship full of traps. The promises of an ideal bond, the gentle words that blind you and make you chase after proving your worth, gradually pull you into a vortex of meeting all their expectations. You fail to realize that you're losing yourself, your autonomy, your time, your energy, and sometimes even your self-respect. Manipulators are masterful artists in role reversal, skillfully shifting from being at fault to becoming the victim. This is done so deftly that it's hard for you to recognize you're being manipulated. Imagine this. You gently point out an inappropriate action of theirs, hoping for a sincere apology, but instead of admitting their mistake, they instantly turn the tables. They paint you as the one who has hurt them, accusing you of using a harsh tone or excessive words. They won't hesitate to drag their past pains and emotional scars into the conversation, weaving a narrative of someone who has been wronged and tormented by life. The result is that instead of addressing the actual issue, you're drawn into a whirlwind of justification, explanation, and sometimes self-blame. The original purpose of the conversation disappears, replaced by their endless tales of suffering. This is the essence of their sophisticated manipulation, where they simultaneously exhaust you and make you feel obligated to do more for them, drawing you deeper into a toxic relationship. This tactic is particularly dangerous for those with a savior mentality, people who are easily drawn into the trap of compassion and eager to prove themselves better than others. For such individuals, manipulators find it even easier to set their traps. Over time, however, you will notice that you are stuck in a vicious cycle, constantly trying to please them but never achieving genuine recognition. You will gradually become mentally drained, lose confidence in yourself, and even lose your sense of identity. They always pretend not to know. One of the most familiar and effective tactics of narcissists is pretending to be naive or clueless, a perfect facade to avoid responsibility and manipulate others' emotions. They deliberately act as though they do not understand basic social norms or common moral standards, painting themselves as innocent to justify their wrongful actions. They craft the image of someone who knows nothing, as if all their mistakes were merely innocent misunderstandings. When confronted, instead of owning up to their behavior, they casually shrug and utter something irresponsibly dismissive, like, "Oh, I didn't know that was wrong," or "I didn't think that would hurt you." These words are delivered with an innocent tone, as if they were a child who doesn't yet understand the world, hoping to elicit sympathy and forgiveness. But in reality, don't be fooled by this clueless facade. This is nothing more than a calculated performance where they play the part of the uninformed to escape the consequences of their actions. What's more, narcissists are far from as clueless as they claim to be. Imagine this. In other situations where they don't need to take responsibility, you'll notice a glaring inconsistency. They might watch a movie, analyze situations, provide sharp commentary on characters, and even harshly criticize others' wrongdoings. They might preach about morals, the way people should live, and demonstrate a thorough understanding of social rules. Yet when it comes to their own actions, they suddenly lose all that knowledge, pretending ignorance to excuse their behavior. This tactic not only allows them to evade responsibility, but also serves as a way to manipulate your emotions. They exploit your compassion, making you feel as though you are too harsh for calling them out, leading you to soften and overlook the mistakes they intentionally made. They want you to believe they are truly innocent, that they didn't know any better, and that you are the one who needs to help them overcome these shortcomings. But the truth is, they are far from the naive persona they project. They fully understand their actions and the consequences, yet they choose to feign ignorance to avoid accountability. Their cleverness and sophistication lie behind the mask of innocence, where they manipulate situations to serve their own interests. Thank you for accompanying us on this journey to uncover the psychological intricacies of narcissists who love to play the victim. We hope that the insights we've shared have helped you gain a clearer understanding of the subtle manipulation tactics and emotional traps they often use. Recognizing these signs not only helps you protect yourself from toxic relationships, but also enables you to better understand and empathize with those around you. After all, sometimes the odd or difficult behaviors of others are simply ways they try to conceal their deep inner wounds. Remember, our goal is not to judge or condemn anyone, but to provide you with the keys to understanding yourself and those around you, so you can build healthier and happier relationships. The journey of exploring the human psyche is long and filled with fascinating discoveries. Stay with us as we continue to decode the mysteries of the mind together. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends and loved ones to spread valuable knowledge about mental health. See you in the next video. Goodbye.